First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to recognize the representatives that are with me today. Representative Kevin Bratcher, Representative Jason Nemus, Representative Russell Weber, State Senator Mike Nemus, and Representative Ken Fleming. We're here today to discuss reformulated gasoline. We passed a House Joint Resolution in 2020. It was House Joint Resolution 8, which directed the Energy Cabinet and Louisville Metro Air Pollution Control to determine the environmental benefits, related costs, and potential alternatives to RFG. We are currently experiencing a crisis at the pumps, and I'm told by a representative of Key Oil Company that today RFG gasoline costs 32 cents a gallon more to sell. It was adopted in 1995, 27 years ago. The cars are much more efficient now. The fuel burns cleaner. Actually, the environmental properties have been the same since 2011 on RFG. So what we'd like to do is petition the governor to at least suspend, if not eliminate, the RFG requirements. I have some guests with me today. I would like to introduce Paul Patel. He is the owner of the BP station that we're at today. So if he would like to come forward, he had a few remarks also. Paul?
I just want to thank you to all the senators and state representative doing this. I think this will put money back in consumers' pocket if this happens. We've always seen a difference anywhere from 15 cents to 30, 35 cents between stores are in the Jefferson County borderline or outside. And I think this is the right thing to do. This is long overdue. We need to get this done. It would help the public and the people who are using gas every single day, especially when gallon of gas is $5 a gallon, and if it goes down 30 cents, that's a big help to the consumers, I think.
Thank you, Paul. I also have with me today Representative Kevin Bratcher, who would like to say a few words. Kevin?
Thank you, guys. I have been working, I guess, on this issue since 1997, because that's when State Rep Bill Lyle, who is no longer in the legislature, we sat out in front of a gas station in Valley Station saying that our areas do not want this RFG. Now, think about that. That was over 20 years ago. This is one of the reasons people mistrust the government. This was created under standards 20 years ago, and what have we had in the last 20 years at least? We've got hybrid cars, we've got electric cars, and remember, we have a smokestack at Cane Run that's no longer operating. There was an LG&E coal-powered plant that was tore down a few years ago. That was part of the pollution issue around here. So we have passed a resolution, as Tom, I think he said, I couldn't hardly hear him, but we passed a resolution to demand the governor get with his EPA department at state and federal and to come up with a plan to get us off of this. This is a tax that people in my district and most districts around here are tired of paying, because it's been proven time and time again that the pollution levels have dropped. Now, since this RFG mandate went in, they have increased the regulations. So they've made it harder to get off with. If you go back to the original pollution control standards, we have beat the tar out of that, and it's time to let our people off the hook of paying this extra tax for no benefit. So thank you all, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Kevin. I would like to also point out that this RFG requirement is only in Jefferson County, part of Bullitt, and part of Oldham County. And it has been suspended before. The governor's father petitioned for it to be suspended in 2008 because of the hurricanes that destroyed a refinery. So this is not unprecedented to be suspended, and we would like to see it eliminated altogether. Are there any questions?
If the governor's administration did want to do this, can they do this on their own, or do they have to rely on someone else to actually implement the getting rid of it?
They have to work with the EPA on this. We would need to petition the EPA.
How long would that take?
That I'm not sure. It looks like they could get it done pretty quick.
Representative Bradford, just a question for you. You mentioned that pollution requirements for RFG and that attainment level have changed.
They have become more strict over the years. I think just 3 years ago they made them stricter. 3 or 4 years ago.
Is there anywhere that we can find those levels?
Well, there is. I mean, it's public knowledge. It's out there. I mean, they have that has been talked about out in the public domain. I could find it and send it to you.
Has the RFG fee already kicked in? I know we saw that doing this on once. Has it already kicked in?
Yes.
Has it?
Yes.
So people
June 1st, I believe. Right?
It's 32 cents a gallon higher today per gallon of gas in RFG affected areas. And that began June 1st.
How long does that go for?
September 15th.
I think, yep.
Representative Bratcher?
Yes,
You
sir.
said there was no benefit to get rid of RFQ. You're saying there's no difference between the emissions of the two gases?
The people I have talked to, and I can get you the names. They're not with me now. We had a plan when Governor Bevin was in that he was going to work with Charles Snavely, who was with the EPA. LG&E was going to add some controls to lower their pollution. I mean, think about this, Joe. We had 2 years of COVID. I mean, there was a whole 6-month time frame where there was no cars out there. Where were those figures? Those figures would have dropped us below. But to answer your question, the last measurement they took, and I don't know when it was, but one of the major collection points is on Cannons Lane. It was below the pollution requirements of the federal EPA.
Question for Mr. Patel. I've had some discussions with people involved with gas distribution around the area. I've actually been told that there are times whenever a gas station may run out of RFG and actually bring in gas that is not RFG. Does that happen?
Not to my knowledge, that doesn't happen, because if you have to, the Louisville terminal is RFG terminal when you're buying a Louisville terminal. Not to my knowledge, no.
More likely outside.
Most like, yeah, but imagine this, the people living outside of the Louisville or in commuting into the Louisville, do you think they are getting gas in the Louisville? I don't think so. They wait until they go back to their county, and I think it doesn't, everybody, if imagine 20 to 30 cents, 30 gallon times 30, and today's, new technology, our kids know more about the technology than you and I do probably, right? The car has changed, like they said, in all these years, and has especially, it doesn't make no sense. One county paying 30 cents less and another paying 30 cents more, I think. It just put...
What about opponents saying that, it's only, they're not just trying to bolster a company's profit margin?
It can, because right now, imagine how many competition. That is all station, not BP or not a Marathon or a Thornton or a Speedway. There is barely a 10 cents average gallon profit for independent on the gas station any given day. Especially as the gas go higher, the credit card fee goes higher. So, the lower you keep it, I think it helps to keep the credit card fee lower. It's all based on the cost, end of the day, when the retailer decides his price and the competition around the market.
That's an added cost. That is an added cost. So it isn't the companies going to keep that cost up there and take the profit from the 32 cents. Because they can't, competition, they can't. They just drive down Lebanon Junction and you don't pay the RFG cost. So they're going to lower it by that that amount.
We see over in southern Indiana that they're not required, RFG is not required there, yet the prices are higher or the same. Why is that?
I can't talk to Indiana. I work for Kentucky. So.
Yeah, let me say, I checked yesterday. In Nelson County, for example, it was 30 cents cheaper yesterday. You can check online, and I didn't check other states, but in Kentucky, Louisville's is by far the highest. And we're told today by the gentlemen who actually run this business, and have oil operations in Kentucky, that it's 32 cents today. So if you're a citizen in Louisville, in Bullitt or Oldham County, and you go get your gas to pump today, you are spending 32 cents more per gallon than you need to be. We're trying to reduce your price at the pump 32 cents a gallon. And what we're doing today is we're trying to ask Governor Beshear to join us. We've been asking him for a few years. Representative Huff sent a letter a few months ago. So it's already later than it ought to have been. But we're saying today, Governor, we will commend you. We want you to join us. Reduce the price at the pump 32 cents today by getting the suspension of RFG in Jefferson County, Oldham County, and Bullitt County. There's no argument to the contrary. There's no argument that makes any sense that they shouldn't. It needs to be done immediately. And what we're asking Governor Beshear, do what your father did. Do what we've been asking you to do for years. Do what previous governors have done, and reduce the price of the pump today on Jefferson, Oldham, and Bullitt counties by 32 cents.
So the theory is that if it were to be repealed, instantaneously it would drop across the city 30 cents.
It wouldn't drop instantaneously. We're told by, again, the people who know what they're talking about, and that's the people who put the gas in these pumps behind us and all around the county, the 3 counties, that it would be within a week that you would feel the reduction. We sent a letter. Representative Huff sent a letter about 2 months ago, Thomas?
March 10th.
March the 10th, asking this to be done. We wish that the governor had got on board then. It's fine. We're not throwing arrows. Governor, we will commend you. We will say the Governor Beshear has taken a good step on behalf of the people in Jefferson, Oldham, and Bullitt counties. But it needs to be done immediately. 32 cents per gallon today. If you have a family of 4 and you're going to load up your SUV today, you're paying 32 cents more per gallon than you need to be. We're trying to get that changed for the hardworking taxpayers of Jefferson, Oldham, and Bullitt County. And you can feel that within a week.
You guys had that resolution, I think, in 2020 or maybe 2019, asking the Air Pollution Control District here in Louisville to study alternatives. Did they ever get back with you with that study that they did? And
No.
anything that they
I never received a study. No, sir.
Or the Kentucky stuff.
Just reading about a little bit into RFG, it looks like northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, they repealed it in 2018.
Yes.
And it looks like, from what I read there, they had to get it approved by the EPA.
Correct.
So
That
you
is
guys
correct.
will have to go through and get this, not only with Beshear, but also approved through EPA.
What we're asking for today is actually a suspension. What we would like to have is the elimination. What we're asking today is at least a suspension for this season.
would that require EPA approval as well?
As far as I know,
It will or not?
it will, yes.
Will. And it's suspension for this season, meaning until end of year?
In end of year, yeah. Or September 15th is actually, I think, when it ends for the requirement.
In October.
Yes.
In October of every year, they look at the pollution every year, the formula on what the city and the surrounding, their package deal. So in October is when they could make it permanent.
I want to add one thing. I mean, we're talking about a short-term situation here in terms of going up, but the folks behind us, we're long-term strategists. We want to look at long-term, and been in several actions by the governor, just short-term flash pan approach. Like he wanted to lower the gas of 2 cents. That equates about 50 cents a gallon per month. We're looking at $16 to $20 savings per month, for individuals to do that. So we're long-term. And another short-term thing, he vetoed our tax plan to drive the income tax down to 0. We're long-term strategists. We want to have, put more money in the people's pocket. This is a long-term strategy, not just a short-term issue, but we're trying to push him to move the needle. In fact, many of us put forth a letter to the mayor as well to let him know to get behind us, to help us out, to help citizens, to put more money in people's pocket by lowering this, not only on a temporary basis, but also on a permanent.
Do you all think that the governor was right to do that emergency regulation to prevent the gas tax from going up 2 cents? Do you support what he did?
I, for one, always support tax decreases. I don't think it amounts to a whole lot to the individual, 2 cents per gallon, but I support any decrease.
There's one more issue that's about to affect Jefferson County drivers, and that's the increase in liquor limit tolls. Starting July 1st, the governor and Secretary Gray have asked Indiana to limit the toll increase. They've refused. Do you all support Kentucky's plan, and what do you think ought to happen come July 1st? Should there be a tolling body decision to keep that rate increase low?
I think,
well, I mean, the question stands.
I think we're taxed, feed, and tolled to death. I support anything that would limit tolls, taxes, lower or limit. Yes.
Would any of the Jefferson County legislators like to address that?
So what's the question?
The question is if you guys support what the governor and Secretary Gray have proposed, which is that the bi-state tolling body meet and enact a toll increase that's less than what's currently set to automatically take place.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find a Republican legislator in Kentucky, much less in Jefferson County, who disagrees with that. Here's where we are, guys. I think we need to be very clear. We're in a time of crisis. We're about to eclipse $5 a gallon of gas in Jefferson County. That doesn't need to be so. In most counties in Kentucky, the gas is 30 cents cheaper today. So anything we can do to help the struggling working taxpayer, we're for. The governor stopped the 2 cents increase on the gas tax a couple of days ago. We wholeheartedly support that. Some people are trying to make sure that the tolls, the increase on the tolls don't go forward immediately. We wholeheartedly support that. If we want to, if those things need to be increased in the future, that's a conversation we have in the future. But right now we're in a time of crisis, and we can reduce the price of the pump 32 cents, and it needs to be done. It must be done. There's no argument to the contrary. It must be done. And I'm gonna tell the governor straight up, Governor, join us. We want you to do this. If you do this, we will herald you across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This is right for our people. This is not politics. This is not partisanship. It needs to be done for the man and woman who are right here behind us, pumping their, putting gas into their car. So we're in a time of crisis. This is a tool that your father, Governor, the Governor Beshear, the first governor, has done, that other governors have done, and it needs to be done today. It needs to be done immediately, because right now, again, we're in the time of crisis.
Is there bipartisan support on this issue as of right now?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about the resolution after you support it?
Sure. Of course, House Joint Resolution 8 had bipartisan support. I think only 10 Democrats voted against it. So it was 90 representatives voted for House Joint Resolution 8. Any other questions?
Is that the same bill that put a tax on like the electric powered vehicles?
No.
Is that better?
No.
I think people that are watching this are kind of chiming in already and asking if there was a number of years we voted to put the tax on the electric vehicles and a number of other issues.
No. Nope. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. We appreciate it. We hope to get this done. Thank you very much.